Hey YouTube, Hassan here again with another film review. Today I'll be reviewing The Amazing Spider-Man, which is a prequel to the Spider-Man series. Let's begin. This one also, before I start, it also has different cast. And someone else plays Peter Parker. Instead of Harry and Mary Jane, it's got Gwen Stacy, someone else playing her, and someone else playing Gwen's father, the police. And also introduces a new character called Dr. Kirk Connors, introducing a new villain called the Lizard. Also introduces Eddie Brock as well. Let's begin. This film begins with Peter's parents dropping off his aunt and uncle, which I forgot to mention, new people as well, and then they go, and then for a while no one knows why or they're alive or not, and then eventually it goes to Peter being a teenager, and then he's at school. He's not like a typical teenager, he's like skateboard. Eventually he goes outside and defends this kid who's being picked on by Eddie. So then ends up getting beaten up and saved by Gwen Stacy. Then eventually Peter goes home, and then Peter's got Gwen and the whatever club she's in, that but mostly focusing more on her. Also Peter finds this thing where of his father, doesn't know what it is. He's trying to find this some secret in it, but then doesn't find anything. And eventually Peter then goes to Dr. Kirk Connors' workplace, where he finds out about that Gwen works there. They're talking, and then Peter goes on his own but gets bitten by a spider. Then he's on his train, and then he feels different, and he's goes to a fight and doesn't know how he's able to fight and do his flips and stuff. Then the next day he wakes up and finds that he can see his glasses, as he did in the first Spider-Man film. And he feels new, feels different, because it's new, because nothing happened to him. So then eventually what happens is Peter then goes to school, and then he gets the basketball, beats Eddie in a basketball match, but then it hits the basket and then breaks, gets attention from it. So then his Uncle Ben goes to school to collect him because he got detention. So then he remembers Gwen from the computer, but eventually Peter and his Uncle Ben have this argument. I can't remember for what, but then Peter then goes to the shops, and then this argument, and then this robber shoots someone and finds out it's Uncle Ben, because Peter refused to stop the guy. He's like, why should I? It's not my job. Your guy's fault, because they ripped him. So and Peter also at the time has made a Spider-Man costume, and then he fights the guy and then almost kills him. He's like, why should if I kill you, then I'll be no better than you, so why should I bother? So he hands him to the police. Eventually Dr. Kirk Connors does an experiment on himself, gets his arm back, because he's got one arm, then gets it back, but then side effect of it is turns his arm and turns him into a lizard, which is a villain. And then Peter also eventually goes to Gwen's house for dinner, and then start talking about Spider-Man, because at the time he's also done being a hero. So then eventually Peter fights the lizard, but then gets badly beaten, but then just about beats him. So then what happens is Peter goes to Gwen's house again, but this time not just getting bandaged but also kissing her, revealing that they love each other, so they get together kind of thing. And then Peter eventually fights the lizard again, but this time also has his identity revealed. Not just Gwen's father finds out as well. He's a police officer, yeah, and then finds out that Peter is Spider-Man. But then Peter gets just about kills him, but then eventually Lizard kills Gwen's father as well. But before that, before he dies, Peter basically promised that he won't get Gwen involved in it. He will doesn't want Gwen involved, so that's why he doesn't want Peter to see her anymore, so he promises it and he dies. and for a while Peter avoids Gwen, but then eventually Gwen confronts him, why are you avoiding me and stuff, so doesn't give a reason why. And eventually they're in a lesson and then Peter's like, some promises are made too broken, and then she smiles and the film ends at the end. And what I like about it is that it goes back to showing the origins of how Peter became Spider-Man, and this one is like a different costume, and also not showing how him wearing like being a typical like nerd and stuff. So that's good. Also I like how it's got Dr. Connors as the Lizard, showing just one villain. It's good. Also, like having Peter as that mentor, showing his consequences, like to experimenting on himself. So that's what I like, and also I like seeing Peter with a new love interest, which is Gwen Stacy. It's good. And what I didn't like about it really was like the fact that her father made Peter promise them not to see Gwen, which is bad. Also, having the Lizard die, I would love to have seen Dr. Connors getting cured, but then unfortunately, but also like not just being cured, but having his arm fully like grown back, and him actually just being a normal human, because now he has to be isolated from his family, so that's bad. Also, it's bad because like his Aunt May, like she lost Uncle Ben because of that as well, but also Peter was made feel guilty that his last like word to his uncle was like the argument, so bad. My overall review for this film, I would say it is about 8 out of 10. Thank you guys for watching. Remember, tune in next week and I'll be reviewing another film series for you guys. I'll be reviewing the X-Men series. Once I've seen Amazing Spider-Man 2, I'll be then coming back to it. Remember, leave your comments below next films I should review. Thank you guys.